Holy shit, the real Clone Wars has returned.
Cannot save your destiny.
Hello and welcome to the El Cachorro Show. I am your host, El Cachorro. And we are finally have a amazing Clone Wars episode to talk about. So buckle in, folks. This is probably going to be a long one because a lot to talk about from that episode. Plus, we got to play a little bit of catch up since we didn't make a video for last week's episode. So I guess we got to push through that one a little bit. So bear with me. If you're checking out the video, thank you for watching. Any kind of support you can give is well appreciated. Hit the like button. More importantly, if you could hit the subscribe button. You don't even have to hit the notification buttons. I'm not even going to be that picky. Just the subscribe button because I'm still trying to get to 100 subscribers so that I can name my own URL address. So I could have youtube.com/El Cachorro Show. That'd be cooler than what's up there right now. It's not very pretty at all. So, all right, so let's catch up real quick. So first we got to get through episode 8, the Together Again, the final episode arc with Ahsoka and the two sisters that nobody cares about. So we open up, they're both, the girls all back in their cell. Kind of little rifts going on between them on whose fault this is. Ahsoka pretty much says it's your fault for, doing, dirty scoundrels missions. And her sister agrees with Ahsoka, and then we get the Rafi doing you're all teaming up on me, you're on her side, we're sisters. Like, we didn't know this is where that was heading anyways, that she was going to do this. Oh, Ahsoka, you're turning against me because of her. So they argue for a little bit, then Ahsoka's like, all right, guys, I have a plan. I can't tell you what it is. Just trust me. Then the guards come, take him in front of the boss man. Boss man pretty much says, pay your debts or I'm going to just torture you and all this stuff. To which Ahsoka then comes out, hey, I'll make a deal with you. They dumped your spice off-world. Give them one rotation to go pick it up and bring it back. Or I'm going to tell you where their family lives. And you can go get their families. And the girl's like, oh my God, how could you do this? Ahsoka, you traitor. How you could, what are you doing? And Ahsoka does this, and she's talking to the boss, but, kind of talking to them at the same time, saying, trust me. And Rafi over here on her side is like, okay. She kind of picks it up on it, and she goes, I will always remember this. So the boss dude agrees to this deal, even though it sounds ridiculously stupid. And how can you fall for this deal? So he agrees to it. And as they walk out, the second in charge guy's like, they're deceiving you. And he's like, yeah, I know. But what choice do I have? We need the spice or else we got to deal with him. Do you think he knows? He always knows. So we have a new ominous character in the story. So we see the chicks get on their ship, the sisters, take off and leave. Meanwhile, Bo-Katan and her Mandalorians are paying attention, and they notice that Ahsoka was not with them. So they said, keep an eye on the tower and keep an eye out for the Jedi. Then we go back to where they put Ahsoka back in her cell, but now she can go full Jedi mode. She uses the Force to get out of her cell. And we cut back to the sisters who are look like they're on a refueling station. And this is where we realize that Trace is, like I've been saying in a couple of other episodes, kind of seems like an imbecile. I can't believe Ahsoka did that. And why was she saying that about our family? She knows that our parents are dead. And Rafi's like, duh, that was the point. She was doing it so we could get away. She's like, oh, wait, so that was her plan? He's like, yeah. So how's she going to escape? And Rafi's like, I don't know, but I'm not going to let her do it on her own because then if she escapes and gets back to us, she's going to hold that over my head. So I'm going to rescue her. Because, Rafi's, doesn't like to be one-upped. So they're coming up with a plan to also rescue Ahsoka. And we get back, Ahsoka sneaking around in the tower. I guess just doing stuff with the spice. She gets into an armory, finds a bunch of explosives and a detonator, puts the detonator thing on her wrist, and grabs a bunch of explosives. Cut back to the sisters. Their plan is they're going to steal spice from the Pikes to give back to the Pikes and pretend it's the spice that they were supposed to deliver. Their plan involves pretty much acting like they were on a special mission to pick up pretty much to deceive the dock guy and letting them have the spice, saying it's an important spice pickup. The spice guy and the dock guy's like, I don't see a spice pickup. Are you guys sure about this? This seems weird. So they keep, arguing with him about that, telling him to go get his manager, he'll get fired. So he goes off to get his manager while they start kind of loading the spice. Go back to Ahsoka. Sneak is still sneaking around, planting explosives now. And she runs in and she overhears the Pike leader dude talking to a hologram person who's got his familiar sounding voice about some plans and about the complications that the Pike guy's having because his spice shipments keep getting interrupted by the Republic, to which the hologram figure is curious to know if the Jedi were involved, and they assume so. Of course, he turns around and reveals himself to be Darth Maul. Or just Maul now. As Maul's talking to him, I guess he kind of saw Ahsoka out of the corner of his eye, sort of. And Ahsoka, rolls behind a cover and hides as Maul kind of just turns and stares, and then turns back and starts talking. So, if he did see her, he didn't mention it. Maul does name drop Crimson Dawn. So, we do know that Maul is now in the Crimson Dawn part of his life, which, as we remember here, he was using in Solo, which would be probably 15 years or so away from this moment. Since it happens before A New Hope. I'm not sure, but the rebellion was starting to form in A New Hope, so I'd say it's probably, I don't know, I have to look up the exact dates of when Solo's timeline is supposed to be. Sure, other people know that off the top of their head. So she overhears that there's stuff going on there. And of course, the second command guy's like, Maul, we don't have to jump for Maul. And the guy's like, you go tell him that. You want to get your ass killed. Then some guy runs up, tells them that Ahsoka's escaped. So they go looking for her. Ahsoka uses that opportunity to sneak into the command room. She puts a couple explosives in there. And she gets on a computer and starts tracking Maul's transmission to find out that he's on Mandalore. And at this point, guards storm into the room. Guy's like, who are you? You're not a scoundrel. And Ahsoka breaks out Jedi Force powers, revealing that she is a Jedi. But there's too many, and they overcome her. And the Galactic Patrol is wrong to send a Jedi here. So they stun her and capture her again. Cut back to our favorite sisters. The little dock guy's still claiming that there's the spice you can see is already on their ship. And the guy's still claiming that there was no spice shipment. My manager says this is really weird too. So Rafi's like confronting me like, well, you did your manager down here. I want to see your manager. And she's confronting me and claiming she thinks he's lying about the whole thing. Meanwhile, some big, giant, bulking figure comes up behind her. Turns out that's the manager, about 2 feet taller. And assuming that's a Trandoshan, One of boss species, kind of looks like that. So this leads to Rafi and Helm starting to get into a fight. They start fighting. Leads to them getting on and pretty much. He throws her on an elevator and tells the dude to lift him up in the air. So they're up in the air on an elevated platform. Meanwhile, then Trey starts fighting with the little dudes on the ground because she's got to fight we've already seen that seem to be very incompetent people. So she's fighting with them. The best part about this is there's a part on this fight where Trace kind of kicks the dude in like the midsection. I don't know if it was the groin or somewhere around the midsection groin area. And he lets out like a yelp. I swear to you, the yelp is the calling sound of a velociraptor from Jurassic Park. I had rewinded to listen to it a couple of times because as soon as I heard it, I was like, dude, that's a velociraptor. So I'm pretty sure they just like Easter egg dropped the velociraptor sound into an episode of Star Wars. So she ends up eventually beating him. Trace beats the other guys up. So they decided they got to get their spice. They got their spice. It's time for them to go. So they escape. Meanwhile, we see Ahsoka handcuffed with the detonator beeper thing still attached to her wrist because the Pike guys, when they handcuffed her, did not think to take off the detonator that was now strapped on her wrist. Great bad guys! So pretty much the leaders confronted him about what's the deal and accusing the sisters of being part of her Jedi plan, part of the Galactic Republic, to which she claims that they had no idea. They don't know what I am. They're innocent in this and all that. And of course, in walk the Sioux sisters saying, "Hey, we got your spice. You're good, so we're free to go." And he goes, "No, you guys are with the Galactic Republic working with this Jedi." And the girl's like, "Wait, what Jedi? She's not a Jedi. What are you talking about?" And like, "Oh, you were. You didn't know because your stupidity tells me that you're telling the truth." So then the girl's like, "You're a Jedi? What do you mean you're a Jedi?" And Soka's like, "Oh, I was a Jedi." "What do you mean you was a Jedi?" I was like, "I left." "You can do that?" So they're kind of like all kind of in shock and all that she's a Jedi. Meanwhile, Ahsoka's like, "Yeah, we got to focus on the situation, guys. We're about to get killed." They're about to. Okay. At this point, the detonator starts blinking its colors. The bombs. I guess the timer on the bombs are about to go off. So some explosions start happening throughout the facilities here, and Ahsoka pulls the famous Jedi trick, and you might have seen in some action movies where somebody shoots at her and she throws her handcuffs on the way and gets her handcuffs shot off. I think we've already passed it here, but there was a clip saying when the bombs started going off, the Mandalorians are outside watching the building explode. So they're still, watching to see what's going on with the Jedi here. So the girls use this as their chance to run for the ship. They get in their ship and take off. A couple Pikes take off in some speeders next to her and start chasing them. We get a scene of the cockpit. Ahsoka's like, "I'm sorry I didn't tell you guys, but I just didn't, you guys told me about how much you didn't like the Jedi, and I didn't want to, tell you that." To which Trace's like, "Hey, if you're a Jedi, you can shoot, right?" It's like, "Well, shoot the guys behind us." So we have Rafi on a computer calling out the locations of the enemy ships. Ahsoka's on a little computer screen controlling a gun that's underneath it, shooting the bad guys. They take out two of them. The third one appears to be the number 2 guy in command for the Pikes. At least that's what assuming it was him, it looked kind of like him. He's able to take out their rear deflector shields and takes out the gun, which leads Trace to think, "Well, we got front shields." So she does a little loop-de-loop around the mountain, starts heading at the guy head on, playing a good old game of chicken. He ends up, kind of pulling off and gets kind of bumped by the ship and crashes into a mountain, and the second command guy gets pretty much killed. So as they start flying to space to take off, so we see it here, they start to take off. Meanwhile, we can see if we can. There we go. Meanwhile, the Mandalorians are following them behind, as you can see there on that screen. We'll do a quick close up there. Boom. They're not that far behind them, yet they don't pick them up on their radar at all that they're being tracked by these Mandalorians. I mean, we've seen ships in Star Wars can tell when a ship comes out of light speed, a system all the way across the system. Like, hey, somebody just came out of light speed way over there. But you can't tell that there's a ship directly behind you. Because Mandalorians must have really good cloaking technology. So they jump into light speed and they're going home to. The next thing we know is we see them landing in their platform on Coruscant. To which we get a scene in the cockpit, and Ahsoka's like, well, since they think I'm a Jedi and with the Galactic Republic, the Pikes probably won't come after you guys right away, so you'll probably be safe for a little bit. Meanwhile, the sisters kind of give her this cold shoulder treatment and just start walking off while she's talking. And then we see him coming out into the hangar. And the chicks start confronting her bros about her, not telling them that she's a Jedi. And she goes, well, you told me about your parents. I didn't think you know that. And like, I don't understand. It's like, what do you mean you're no longer a Jedi? And she's like, well, I left the Order. I walked away. And they go, why did you leave? And she said, it's complicated. And we get a good plot device to hear as Rafi comes in and says, well, I don't need to hear your complicated story. Like, good way to cover up the fact that so we don't have to have Ahsoka, just retell the past. But then she goes on and says, like, you might not think you're a Jedi, but you sure act like a Jedi. At least you act like how I think a Jedi should act. And Trey's like, yes, I agree. You act like what we believe Jedi should be. So they're pretty much saying that, so they all kind of make up, and they think Ahsoka needs to follow her path. And of course, now Rafi's being a good, better person and finds hope. And at this point, Bo-Katan shows up. They got how sweet. And their last meeting, obviously, her and Ahsoka were enemies. They fought. It was Bo-Katan's first appearance with Death Watch. In which Bo-Katan takes off her helmet and says, you remember me, but I'm not here to fight you. I'm here because we have a common enemy. And she holds up a holographic image of Darth Maul. Boom, right there. And like, I need your help. It's like, yeah, I'll give you 5 minutes to decide if you want to come with me. And she walks back to her ship, leaves Ahsoka with her little sister buddies, and the sisters pretty much tell her, if people need help, then you should help them. That's what you should do. And so it's like, this could lead me down a dark, dangerous path. Back to the Jedi. But they end up getting Ahsoka decides to go, and she says, well, is it cool if I leave my bike here? So I guess having a reason to come back to him. So Ahsoka goes, boards the Mandalorian ship as it takes off. And we see the sisters have this nice little together moment again. Oh, they're so happy together, and I hope you never show up again. And bam, bam, boom, that episode's over. So that's a wrap on that episode. Now to the episode that's worth talking about. That episode, obviously, is finishing up the Ahsoka arc. It may have been the best one of the arc. I don't know. I still say it's about a 6 or a 7. That whole arc was just incredibly long and boring and not very. I mean, there's like a whole episode you could pretty much cut out of that arc, and is the only 2 things that you need to know from that episode. You could easily put them in 2 of the other episodes. It's pretty much how the parents died, and Bo-Katan. You could easily just like put that somewhere else in the episode. I mean, otherwise, all the episode was about they escaped the prison cell, they got caught again, put back in the prison cell. It was completely wasted, a goofy episode. But so we get to the new episode, which is Old Friends Not Forgotten. In the first 4 seconds of this episode, you can tell what the Clone Wars team was driven on. We get this opening Lucasfilm Limited production special little graphic, to which after that we get if we can get it, the Clone Wars insignia. Now it's all red. And then we even get a come on. Oh, can't get it on the screen, but then it goes to a part 1. So I mean, you got a fancier intro. So it looks like it kind of tells me that they just do those first 8 episodes together just to do it. I mean, we already know that the Bad Batch episodes were completely ready to go episodes that just didn't have their final animations on them. The voice lines were recorded; they were completely storyboarded out. They just needed to be finalized with the final animation. So they added that because they were leaked online, or they leaked them themselves online actually. So we know that those episodes were completely ready to go. So no work. So all they didn't put. So very little effort was put into them. They said I think the only thing they just changed, kind of tweaked a couple scenes. So very little effort, I would say, on that. We know the Ahsoka story arc was already conceived because it was originally supposed to be about a male character, and that male character was scrapped and replaced with the 2 sisters. So at least we know that arc had been started, but obviously, as like I said, it just feels like those were complete filler episodes. Here's 8 episodes. We need 12 episodes. Well, let's do these 8 episodes, and then give the last 4 episodes super special attention. I personally think they should have done this with all 12 episodes. Should have been super special attention. Should have been 12 episodes of wrapping the entire series up. Bad Batch episodes were okay. Love or hate the group. I think they're kind of over the top, dramatic, way over the top with everything. Their powers, their personalities, especially as everyone knows, I hate Wrecker with a passion. The Ahsoka story arc was just super, just boring. There's nothing that just. I don't really see what plays into that, and I really hope they don't work those 2 sisters back into this. But now we get to the nitty gritty. We're getting to the good stuff. We open up talking about how the General Grievous's clones or separatists have stepped up their game, and they're pushing the clone army to its limits, to the point where the Jedi have been sent out from the core planets to the battle sites to reinforce the troops. And if we can see, we see 2 Jedis. We see Plo Koon is in his ship, flying in like there's Wolf. So Plo Koon and his Wolf troops are in their ships, flying in this on this planet, kind of earthy-ish planet, I guess you could say. I don't know how better to just really describe it. And if we can get, if I can show her, I don't know if I can get her on here that well. We also see the oh god, I can never say her name right. Can't get her because was she before Plo Koon? Maybe I don't. It was Isla the blue. the blue Jedi, blue skin Jedi. See here, she's on a floral planet with her droids. Pretty much, it looks like both of these Jedis are at their locations that we see them in Revenge of the Sith, when we all know what happens there.
Execute Order 66.
So yeah, it looks like they're in their execute where they get shot down, where they get killed when their clones turn on them. That looks like that's the two locations that you see them in. That's what it pretty much looks like. That's where they're located. Then we get to that Commander Cody and his troops are in bad need of reinforcements in their battle and they're battling on a bridge here, and they're getting bombarded by some troops. And there's a scene where Commander Cody, this big old giant blast is getting shot, and it's coming right for Commander Cody, and he's kind of like stunned there looking at it. All of a sudden, Kenobi comes in and slices it and just takes it out. Great entrance for General Kenobi to show up here out of the blue. It's like, man, that's a great entrance. To which then he's like, gets Cody to drop his troops back to cover, so they can hide behind take cover here. Because it doesn't look like things are going too well. I was like, we can't find the tactical droid. He hasn't showed himself. He's staying hidden. And then Kenobi is like, Anakin, where are you? And of course, Anakin shows up, just casually starts walking up, doing some Matrix stuff like, laser blast, laser blast. Just don't care. He's acting, he's a badass. Kenobi's like, Anakin, what are you doing? You should take cover. He goes, it's like, Master, it's only 1,000 droids. You act like it's a big number. So we see they're giving Anakin this super cockiness here. Kind of feel this is a little over the top. One of the few things in the episode that kind of felt a little off. So Anakin's like pretty much leaving himself completely exposed while talking to Kenobi here. He goes, well, I finished my battle, so I thought I'd come help you with yours. I have a plan. And so Kenobi obviously says, oh, well, go ahead. So then the droids notice that Anakin's just casually walking up to him, still dodging their laser blast. We can't hit him. So the B1 tells everybody, aim on the Jedi. And before they fire, he's like, wait, I come to surrender. You guys are too strong for us. So he's doing this whole I'm surrendering thing, and the droids are all confused by it because the droids have brains. Meanwhile, he's talking. We see R2 is on the side of a bridge. He's like leaning up, peeking at Anakin. Then he's like leaning down, relaying stuff to Rex, Rex and a bunch of the 501st are all hanging to these pipes under this bridge, waiting on the sign. Waiting for a signal. Boom. So finally, the command tactical droid shows up. Asking why aren't nobody shooting? Like, it's General Anakin Skywalker surrendering, and the tactical it's a trick. He's deceiving you. Of course, Kenobi's like, there you are. So he gives out the order, and then he uses the Force to pull the tactical droid in, whips out his lightsaber, attaches his head. Meanwhile, the clones get their go order, and they let go of the bridge, and they're all wearing jetpacks, and because, they all fly now. So they start bombing them, flying over attacking them from the air. And finally, Cody's like, General, and Kenobi's like, go ahead, go join in the fun, go have fun. So they're forcing the clones back. Kenobi walks up to Anakin. Anakin's all boasting and stuff, like how his plan worked perfectly and stuff. To which they get a call from the admiral of the ship, who says that there's a special message coming in on a special frequency, fulcrum. And of course, they automatically assume it's Saw Gerrera. To which, no, that's not it. You guys should really come up to the ship and take this. So the Jedi return to the capital ship. This is the scene we saw from the trailer. And walk in. It's a hologram of Ahsoka and Bo-Katan. And Anakin goes into like full shock mode, like because he's. This is another part that I thought did not really fit. Yes, Ahsoka is Anakin's Padawan, and they were close. And her leaving was hurtful to him. We already saw one of the Ahsoka episodes where it appeared Anakin sensed her on a ship. I guess I remember when we talked about that, I mentioned how it seems like Ahsoka, he could tell it was her on the ship and let it go. I always thought it would have been cooler if they would have done like had him like do a smile or something like that to let him know that, to signify that he knew it was her. But here he goes into this complete shock mode. I mean, it totally looks like he's like he just got surprised by an ex-girlfriend. He's got these looks on his face. He's completely dumbfounded by it. Like, yeah, man, that's the wrong kind of surprise. They said, "This is a surprise you look." Like, we will give a quick. Whoops, wrong button, wrong one. There you go, quick look. Dude totally looks like he just saw his ex-girlfriend. So the Sucker pretty much says that, hey, we're contacting because we have information about Sith Lord Maul, and we need your help. The capturing him. So then we cut to the two Jedi walking in that, and then Anakin's like, well, see, this is why everything happened. It all happens for a reason. Ahsoka left so she could be in this right spot for all this stuff, so now we can capture Maul. And Kenobi's just kind of, and he's like, well, so Anakin's like, aren't you excited about this? And Kenobi's like, I am cautiously optimistic. He's like being super coy. Of course, then they come in and they land. So they come out. Ahsoka has a tender moment with R2. He rolls up to her because he's happy to see her. She says the whole put her hand, the famous put the hand on the droid thing. We've seen Luke do that with R2 as well. And they walk up, and Anakin's all like, Ahsoka, where have you been? What have you been up to? And all this stuff. She's like, we don't have time to catch up now. Time's of the essence. So she kind of like blows him off a little bit there. Kind of giving him a little bit of a cold shoulder treatment, if you ask me a little bit there. Thought that was kind of awkward. Kind of being a little standoffish. And then Bo-Katan's like, yes, we don't have time to talk. We need this. We need to act quickly. So Kenobi's like, all right, well, let's go talk about it. So they go to a briefing room where they're talking about how all the information they've gathered about Maul on Mandalore. And Ahsoka talks about how she got the transmission plans from the Pikes, on whatever the name of that planet was. And then we have another scene where Anakin's like, well, what were you doing on that planet? She goes, it's a long story, and it's not relevant to this. I'm sorry, man. I love you, Ahsoka, but you're kind of being a bitch. I mean, the dude, he was close. He just wants to know where you've been up to. So she's doing this whole cold shoulder thing. I don't really get that for most of this kind of thing. But as they talk about it longer, Kenobi does this. Well, I gotta talk to the council about it. It's about going to Mandalore to help you. Well, pretty much like, why do you need our help? She's like, I don't have the army to do it. That's why I need our participation. I need you guys to help, a joint effort from you guys. You got at the end, then you guys get to capture Maul. I get this, save Mandalore, free Mandalore. Which now we gotta pull back a little bit and go back in time on the Clone Wars. Because actually, well, I guess we'll even let's get to the point where they're even going to bring up a little bit. So he's talking about that, and she's like, well, what do you mean you got to talk to them? I need your help, but you don't have time to do that because my people are being hurt. Maul killed my sister, their leader. He killed my sister. I thought you cared for her, referring to Sabine. So this Kenobi's like, I did care for her. I still do, but I can't let my feelings cloud my judgment. It's like, this is a chick who died and told you that she always loved you. And last time we saw, and the way that story arc ended, if people remember, is obviously Maul took over. He got Kenobi to come show up against the Jedi orders. He kind of went on his own. Got captured. Maul kills Sidine right in front of him. Locks him in a cell. Bo-Katan rescues him. Gets him on a ship. And says, go back to your Galactic Republic. Tell them we need their help. Please send help to us. We need your help. So somehow that completely disappears. Because obviously Kenobi does not go back and tell the Republic anything. Means Bo-Katan doesn't even bring it up here either. But Kenobi, Sidine died, and he just said, "Screw you! I don't want to have anything to do with you." Very un-Kenobi-ish. So it's that's kind of a little timeline goof. One of two. We'll talk about the other one when we get to it. But he's like, I gotta talk to the council. He walks his way. She's like, I knew the Jedi would be of no help, and she walks off in her way, leaves Ahsoka and Anakin in the room, and Ahsoka's like, well, I see you two haven't changed. And they kind of have a little catching up. They kind of have a little, fun moment there for a minute. So Ahsoka finally kind of lightens up a little. So Anakin's like, well, come with me. I have a surprise for you. So you can see they're kind of fighting. So they start walking through the corridors. All the clone troopers are saluting Ahsoka and calling her commander. And she's like, well, they don't need to do that. And he's like, they're showing respect to you because, they respect you for your loyalty. So they end up going to a room where Rex and the 501st are waiting for them, all in attention. And Ahsoka goes in, and we see that all the troopers have painted their helmets to kind of represent Ahsoka's markings, or what, I don't know if they actually call it what her face tattoos are called. At least I'm not even sure if they're tattoos. I don't know much about her species, but they've all designed their helmets to kind of honor her. So she's obviously touched by it. And Anakin's like, well, we have a second surprise for you. So he's got this box. And I'm pretty sure you could guess what's inside this box by now. So he starts to hand it to her. But at that time, an alarm starts going off. The red alert alarm's kind of going off. And Kenobi runs in, and he's like, Anakin, prepare your troops. We need to jump to light speed. So Ahsoka's, so the council decided that you guys can come and help us on Mandalore. Thinking that, she's getting their help. To which Kenobi's like, well, no, we have to go to Coruscant. Grievous is penetrated and he's attacking Coruscant. And we fear for the Chancellor. He was being guarded by Shaak Ti, and the Jedi Council has lost connection to Shaak Ti. Which, if you also remember the lore, there's a deleted scene. It was pretty much where the Shaak Ti was guarding the Chancellor. Heard some Jedis, goes attacked by Grievous. Grievous was able to take them out, and then he had a big battle with Shaak Ti, and was able to subdue her. And then the story kind of splits in two ways. In a deleted scene, one of two deleted scenes was Revenge of the Sith with Shaak Ti. It shows when Kenobi and Anakin board the ship. They walk around the corner, and Grievous and a couple droids, they have Shaak Ti on the ground on her knees. To which Shaak Ti's like, I'm sorry, Obi-Wan, I failed. And Grievous is kind of rubbing his hand on her head thing, whatever they're I don't know, I don't want to call it a horn, whatever this thing, kind of Ahsoka's kind of got miniature ones there. I'm guessing Ahsoka's the same species. Her headdress thing's not as pronounced. And then he takes the lightsaber and he stabs Shaak Ti through the heart and kills her. There's two deleted scenes of Shaak Ti dying. There's that one. That one got thrown out. The other one is she's meditating at the Jedi Temple, and Anakin stabs her in the back, stabs her through the heart with his lightsaber. And supposedly that's the one that is stuck as canon. But the other story was Grievous after a long battle, beats Shaak Ti and steals her lightsaber. And then her lightsaber is one of the ones that he's using in his battle with Kenobi later. So, but obviously they're saying Coruscant's under attack. Grievous, and they can't find the Chancellor, so they need to go to Coruscant, which leads to an argument between Kenobi and Ahsoka. Ahsoka's like, "Well, the Mandalore people need you. This is what the Jedi are about. All you care about is the Chancellor and all this stuff like that." Like, sorry, but I'm kind of on Kenobi's side here. It's their base of operations, their home planet, where their leaders of the Republic are. If that goes under attack, yeah, the army somebody has to the army's got to respond. So I think kind of with Kenobi's side here. So they're kind of arguing back and forth about it, and then Anakin kind of steps in. Well, how about if I split my 501st army, and I have half, and I promote Ahsoka to the commander of that group, and she can take that group with her to Mandalore. To which Kenobi's like, well, she's not a Jedi. She can't be a commander. So Skywalker rephrases it. How about I make Rex the leader, and Ahsoka could be his advisor? And Ahsoka's like, oh, I'm cool with that if Kenobi is. And Kenobi's like, that's fine. May the Force be with you on it. And as he turns to leave, and then so it's kind of all this super tension between, like I said, this whole Kenobi about the Mandalore thing is really shocking to me because it's completely acting like he's not caring. But as he walks away, though, he does do this, hey, with Maul, you got to be careful. I killed him once and he came back. So he has a tendency not to die. Of course, as we know, as I kind of was talking about the Shaak Ti part there, just a little info dump. This is obviously, they're going right into the beginning of Revenge of the Sith right now. Because Revenge of the Sith starts with them going back to Coruscant because it's under attack by Grievous and Dooku, who kidnapped the Chancellor, and the whole events of that movie start. So we know that's where this is obviously what that is. So I guess I said after Kenobi leaves, Ahsoka opens up her the surprise because he's like, well, if you're going to go after Maul, you need these. It's her lightsabers that Anakin took the liberty to upgrading. As we can see there now, they kind of look more blue here than white because we know they're pretty much solid white in Rebels. So it's kind of like a bluish white color, like a white with a tint of blue or something like that. But he says he upgraded them. So Ahsoka, of course, does a couple little spin Jedi moves, showing she remembers her stuff. So she gets her. So now we know she's got her lightsabers back. So we get a touching moment where they kind of wish each other luck and their stuff. And as I said, since we know they're going to Revenge of the Sith, can't get the moment. Pretty sure this is the last time that Ahsoka will see Anakin Skywalker as Anakin Skywalker. We do. There appears their next meeting is going to be when he is already full Darth Vader, and they have their fight in the Sith Temple. To which, originally, it was appeared that she died. I mean, I know that was kind of open to judgment calls, but seeing how Ezra used the time traveling powers thing that he found to rescue Ahsoka, I mean, I guess pretty much it does show that she pretty much did get killed. Because he reaches in and he pulls her through the portal right before Vader was able to strike her down. So they said, yeah, this was the last time they met as friends. The next time they met, Anakin was pretty much going to kill her. So, a little sadness there. So it's sad because, as I said, I don't see how, since we know they're going to the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, I don't think I see how Anakin or Obi-Wan are going to play back into this, the series at all. So it appears the Clone Wars is going to wrap up pretty much with Ahsoka and Rex. Which, obviously, the other good catch there is Ahsoka's taking Rex and his Legion of 501st troops with him. So this is going to explain where Rex was during
Execute Order 66.
So obviously, it appears Rex is going to be with her. So I'm assuming we're going to see Order 66 happen probably in the last episode of the series. Is where that I would imagine is where they're going to have Order 66 is going to happen. Now the story we know from Rebels is Rex claims that not everybody turned on their Jedis, and we removed our chips. So the assumption was, I guess, that they removed their chips as soon as they found out about them. But I'm assuming Rex still has his chip at the moment, and most of his clones have their chips. And since we're doing the Mandalore thing, and we're getting ready to have Order 66 happen, I don't know how much time was supposed to take, and Revenge of the Sith was supposed to take. So the question becomes: is are they going to? So if Order 66 comes while they're with Ahsoka, will they turn on Ahsoka, or will they not? Because she's technically not a Jedi. So I'm curious to see if we're going to see that play out. I would kind of have to think that would be in the final episode. And it's also, like I said, also explains where Rex was during that time frame. So we know Anakin, he does his fall. He takes his 501st Legion, I guess the remaining parts of his 501st to invade the Jedi Temple, to where he will end up killing Shakti in another deleted scene. Like, really, probably. It didn't really make sense. The scene kind of is weird because Shakti's meditating while there's like this big battle going on in the temple. Probably could have used that in the movie to set him up, because all we really saw Anakin do was kill kids. So now we're setting the people to be where they were at when the big turn happened. So Ahsoka takes her people. They go to Mandalore. They start their invasion approach. To which, while they're coming in, Alnak, I think his name. I think can't Alnak, something like that. Who's Maul's puppet in charge, contacts the fleet and it's like, "What are you guys doing? Just invading us? We have treaty rules." To which Bo-Katan's like, "No, we're here. We're taking you out. We're taking Maul out." So we now know that there's a war going on. So we get down to Almak, who's got a couple people with him. Purple-haired chick kind of notice the purple-haired chick. He does address her to go do something. I believe he called her Brooke. So while she does remind us of someone, which I'm pretty sure, obviously has nothing to do with her, that chick would be a child right now. Obviously talking about Sabine. But we'll get our Sabine Easter egg here in a minute. Of course, then we get our other Rebels star here, Gar Saxon, showing up here. So they go out to start the attack. And here we go. As we cut to Bo-Katan talking to one of her people, Ursa Wren, who is Sabine Wren's mom. So there's your Sabine Easter egg right there. So she's like giving the update of their last known location of Maul. So meanwhile, our evil Mandos start attacking. Use their jetpacks, which leads to the clones going out in their jetpacks. So we have a bunch of people fighting each other in jetpacks. Of course, we get to the moment where Rex is like, "Sorry, Ahsoka, I didn't bring you a jetpack." And she's like, "I don't need one." So Ahsoka starts doing some badass Jedi maneuvers. She's got her lightsabers out. She's jumping from ship to ship, taking out bad guys. I mean, she's going in straight badass mode. And this is the Ahsoka we've been waiting for the last 4 episodes. We got her doing some little karate moves and stuff like that, but now she's like going into full ass-kicking mode. Taking out some bad guys, jumping to another ship, taking out some more bad guys. And then she ends up on a ship that's been damaged. It's going to crash. The commander's stuck. He can't eject. So she uses her lightsaber to free his pod so he can eject. And then she rides the ship down to the platform and then jumps onto a platform where a bunch of troops are waiting for her. Can't really get it. But in this sequence, when she lands on the ground, we do get to see this picture. So as you can see, my intro picture. I always thought that was from I guess I should have noticed from the lightsabers, but I thought it was a badass picture. That's why I use it as the thumbnail and the intro for a lot of times. So she's deflecting all these shots, and all of a sudden, Bo-Katan and her people show up to the rescue, starts chasing everybody back. We have a nice little moment between her because when Rex was jumping down his jetpack, she's like raced you to the ground, and she's like, "I won." So bringing back their, so we can see their friendship's definitely in full fledged. So Gar Saxon and his people are getting beat, so they contact like, "Hey, we know the resistance is stronger than we expected them." So pretty much, Almec tells them to go fall back somewhere. Tells them to fall back to a certain whatever that location was. I can't remember. Like this, some kind of sewer thing. Then we cut to our leaders here. They're talking about, well, we can't. They still haven't found Darth Maul, and they need to get moving because they're not going to be able to be able to siege. They don't have the manpower to completely do the siege. They got to get Maul quickly. So pretty much what is decided is Bo-Katan is going to go to the throne room to confront Almec. This time, Ahsoka gets a message from another trooper saying that they found something weird that she needs to come investigate. And she then also dispatches Rex to go help Ursa Rin maintain control of the docks so that no one can escape. So obviously we have Bo-Katan going her way. Rex is going to go to that area. So that leads to just Ahsoka joining some troops at this sewer entrance kind of thing, where we see a bunch of dead troopers. And there she's informed that Gar Saxon and a group of people retreated down this tunnel. They don't know exactly if that lets them escape or not. And they're not positive about if Darth Maul might be down there or not. So they decide to go after him. So they go down there. Then we cut back to Almec, who's talking to Gar Saxon, who's telling him that the Jedi are coming. And the one thing we notice is Gar Saxon and his group are always wearing like the red armor. That's the Darth Maul themed Mandalorian armor. Of course, Bo-Katan has the white and blue. But could I notice there's a few guys with Almec that wearing the Boba Fett color scheme here. See, they got the green, the yellows. Looks like that could be like a reddish color there. So I thought that was kind of interesting, just that those are the Boba Fett colors. So Bo-Katan enters the throne room, starts to spin with some troops, and they start dispatching his guards, which leads to her battling Almec. And she's able to beat him. And she's confronting him on where Maul is. And we find out that Almec's like, well, this was part of the plan. We wanted you to go get the Jedi, bring the Jedi, but you brought the wrong one. Dun, dun, dun. Actually, I got that somewhere, actually. There it is. You were supposed to get the Jedi, but you brought the wrong Jedi. So she then tries to get a hold of Ahsoka, say, hey, you're walking into a trap, but Ahsoka's deep underground and can't get the transmission. So we see her run through her and her troops walking through the tunnels. Meanwhile, we see all the red Mandalorians hidden all around them, just waiting, letting them walk in. Finally, as they walk past a bunch of them, one of them comes up, shoots the rocket off his back into the ceiling, disorienting a bunch of the troopers, was able to cause Ahsoka to kind of knocks Ahsoka off her feet. So it delays her while her troopers go chasing after him. And Ahsoka's like, no, wait. So her troopers kind of run off in front of her, and she's trying to play catch up, and she keeps hearing her troopers battling. And as she's running, she keeps finding down troopers, showing that her guys are getting pretty much slaughtered. She's still trying to catch up to him. Finally, the leader of the group that she's with, I don't remember his name, she comes to a room where he's laying in the middle of the floor. And he's like, I'm sorry, I failed. And he pretty much dies right in front of her. And we have this touchy moment where it shows Ahsoka feeling empathy for her troops. And pretty much she's in a room that's got all these tunnels emptying out into it. So there's a bunch of pathways. All the pathways start filling up with the red Mandalorians. So she's got her lightsabers out and she's spinning around the room, looking at each group, getting ready to fight. And all of a sudden, then we hear a voice. It comes on and says, "You are not Kenobi. Why are you here?" And as you see, his Maul shows up. And that's the end of the episode. So, obviously, this was Maul once again trying to lay a trap for Kenobi. Which is weird because Kenobi showed zero interest in going back to Mandalore. I mean, like I said, as we know, as we mentioned before, he was supposed to go get help and come back. He never did any of that. So it's like Sabine died, or that's Sabine. Great, now I got their names mixed up. I can't get her name. His love interest, we'll call her Sadine. Interesting that they have very similar names. So Sadine died. I feel like he just like cut off Mandalore. Like he just turned cold inside when that moment happened. Now, as we mentioned, that was a timeline goof. Now we got to go to Darth Maul's timeline goof that I've mentioned before in the past too. In the same episode that we referred to about where Sadine died and Kenobi was able to escape and was told to get that, while that part was going on, Darth Sidious had arrived on Mandalore and was in a battle with Maul and Savage. He kills Savage, and last we saw is he was kicking. He got the upper hand on Maul after a little while, and was pretty much zapping Maul on the ground with his lightning, saying, "Oh, I'm not going to kill you. I have bigger plans for you." The popular canon has always been that he took Maul and imprisoned him, and then somehow Maul was supposedly escaped, and that's when Crimson Dawn happened and Solo happened, which led to the incidents of Rebels, where we saw Maul still. So somehow, I guess he zapped Maul, but then said, "All right, well, you can still keep running Mandalore," and left. I guess is what happened. So we kind of have a little goof there on what happened between Sidious and Maul. But it looks like we're setting up, so see what's going to happen with the story here. So I thought this episode was absolutely fantastic. This was everything we always loved about the Clone Wars. This was the kind of episode we were wanting for the whole final season to be like. Is just the story arcs that, wrapping up the character arcs. So pretty much what we know is both Ahsoka and Maul are going to live. Assumption is Maul obviously is going to get driven off the planet and has to escape. Like I said, we know he's running the crime syndicate and the Crimson Dawn syndicate in Solo, which is 10 to 15 years from this moment. Because, I mean, that's slightly before, I guess a little halfway. That's somewhere, between now and A New Hope. Because we know Rebels is just several years before A New Hope. Leads in The New Hope. And we know Maul and Rebels still had the Blacksaber. So we all know that. So we know he escapes somehow with that. So assume the season somehow this is going to end with them driving him off the planet. And then he's just going to have to somehow escape. for the timeline, because that's the timeline says so. And we know Ahsoka lives because she's back in Rebels. But it's really interesting to see. Like I said, I think we're going to get to Order 66 at the end of this series. I think it's going to happen. And I think we're just going to, during this, I mean, Revenge of the Sith, they fight with Dooku at the beginning. How much time is supposed to go on through that rest of that movie? I would have to think it was only within several weeks. So that happens. Anakin gets anointed the chancellor's representative on the Jedi Council. Kenobi goes after Grievous. So it doesn't feel like that movie takes place over a long period of time. So I'd have to say I would think we'll see Order 66 happen with the clones, the 501st and Ahsoka, and see if that somehow see what kind of reaction we're going to get from that. Would be a thought. I mean, I don't know. The show could wrap up before Order 66 happens, I guess. But I'm really excited to see how this story arc arcs. As I was getting kind of bored with this season for a while because, like I said, the Bad Batch rubbed me the wrong way. The episodes I thought were okay. I just thought they dragged on for too long, and that the Bad Batch characters were too over the top OP. I mean, if you can mix the Avengers with Overwatch and stuff like that, that's what kind of the Bad Batch reminded me of. It's like you don't need superhuman clones. That's never really been a Star Wars thing. The Jedi are supposed to be the superhuman people. Then the Ahsoka story arc with those sisters was just dreadfully boring. It was not very interesting. So finally, though, we're getting something that was really good. It was really exciting. So we look forward to that. So hopefully I will lead to me getting these videos out quicker because I'm actually looking forward to watching them. Whereas before it was like, well, it's a Clone Wars. I gotta watch it so I know where the story's going to go. But it's But I really enjoy it. This is definitely by far the best episode of the season. I'm going to give it 9.5. I mean, I'll knock off some because there was like a few tidbit things that kind of rubbed me weird. The Ahsoka cold shoulder and Anakin at the very beginning when they first meet. Kenobi's whole reaction to the Mandalore Maul thing. Like he just don't care. That also kind of struck me, like I said, as weird. So just in a couple, obviously then there's the timeline changes they've kind of twinkling on one there. But solid episode. Story is awesome. Great actions, the great amazing action. Ahsoka going in the straight badass mode. It's amazing. So thank you for. Guess I'll wrap it up there. So that's my review. There's my thoughts. Feel free to leave yours down below. If you like what you've seen, I know this is kind of a long video since we had to cover 2 episodes. So I thank you for bearing with me. If you can hit the like button, that's awesome. Like I said before, hit the subscribe button. Helps me out a lot. We also have some places down there where you can also follow me. I have a Facebook page for El Cachorro Show, as well as a Twitch where I stream some gaming. A couple of types, good variety of games. Need to pick that up a little bit more. But if that interests you, feel free to drop down there and give me a follow there. I'm also trying to hit that Twitch affiliate goal. Where I need 100 for that, and I only need like 50 for the Twitch goal, so I'm only like 30 away or something like that. So any help on any of those things, I highly, highly appreciate and thank you for. And until next week, El Cachorroites, peace out. I really need a catchphrase.
And when you die, I can see the outside. Mandalore.